wild.
It's the influence that The Cure has had on bands since you guys come out, Rob. It's amazing. There's not many bands in 30 years, let alone recently, that can have the impact you guys have had on so many other bands. Especially nowadays, you just don't get a sense from a lot of the bands that you hear and you go to see that they're going to have influence like that for so many years. It's such a broad final question here, but in your understanding, what do you think has helped the longevity for The Cure over all these years? What have you come to feel this is why? What stood the test of time?
It's an often asked question in the last few years as we've kind of like growing older. I think there's a number of factors. I think that the main reasons I think are likely to be our attitude towards what we do. We've all, even when we were a very commercially successful group, we've kind of up and down over the years. We've always been perceived as slightly wrong, slightly outside of what goes on. And I think that's been an important part of it. And it's not a position that we adopt because it's a clever thing to do. It's actually how I feel about what we do. I don't want to be. I mean, I'm not kind of railing against the machine in a naive way and saying that, because obviously we're part of it. We've been signed to an independent label, in inverted commas, which has always been distributed by a major. So I've been part of the system. But I like the idea of doing things in our own way and suffering the consequences of our own mistakes, as well as understanding why we do well when we do well. And no one else really knows that. No one else really understands what The Cure does apart from the people that are in it. And fans that get kind of caught up in it appreciate that. I think they know that whatever we do, even if they don't like it, we're doing it for our own reasons. Sometimes they hate what we do, but they can appreciate the reasons behind doing it. I think that's a really important thing. So it's like the attitude of the band is kind of like an outsider attitude. I think the melodies of the songs is pretty key. I think that without some good tunes and getting radio play, you're not going to last that long. And I think lyrically, I've always felt very strongly that the words that I sing most of the time have to mean something to me, and I figure if they mean something to me, they'll mean something to other people. Right. And too many young bands, I think, don't pay any attention at all to the lyrics. They're like banal in the extreme. And I think those three things combined, plus we were lucky in a sense to have come on the back of come out of the punk thing and have existed and actually created a global sort of fan base before the internet. And it's a much more solid. I mean, it's impossible now. We were able to do things in a very quiet way around the world, and no one knew what we were up to. And suddenly we emerged, and it was like, who are these people? Who is this band? And it was too late for them to stop us by then because we played everywhere, like 4 or 5 times around the world. Now, it's impossible to do that. You get noticed, and everyone knows who you are, and everything. I mean, it's like with us, with doing new songs. We know that within a few minutes of doing it, it's going to be up on YouTube, which is fine. It's a good thing in some ways, but